Drop a like and do share. Leave your comments and do not forget to subscribe for more videos.
Hello students, welcome to repeatable.com, your online gateway to the world of invaluable knowledge. So let's continue our discussion. Now, the future value of annuity can be computed for any number of years ahead by using the simple formula Fn is equal to A within bracket 1 plus I raised to the power of n minus 1 whole upon I bracket closed. Once again, student, take a very careful look at this. The future value of an annuity can be computed in a straightforward manner, that is wherein if Fn is equal to A within bracket 1 plus I to the power of n minus 1 whole upon I and bracket close. It means, students, just like in our preceding discussion wherein we tried to calculate the future value of a lump sum, we use the formula Fn is equal to P within bracket 1 plus I to the power of n. So in the case of annuity, we are coming up to the formula that is Fn is equal to A multiplied by within bracket 1 plus I to the power of n minus 1 bracket close whole upon I. Now the question arises, how did we deduce this formula? How did we reach up to this formula? Okay, it is quite simple that we can simply mug this formula up and we can apply it. But rather than mugging this formula, I personally feel that if we can understand the derivation of this formula, it shall linger in our memory for years to come and we shall never forget it. Why? Because after understanding the derivation, we shall be getting under the skin of the concept. So it's better to develop the concept. It's better not to save ourselves of the pain of deriving, of going to the derivation of a formula and then arrive at this particular formula wherein the future value of an annuity is a function of Fn is equal to A within bracket 1 plus I to the power of n minus 1 whole upon I bracket close. At this juncture, students, instead of directly taking you through deduction part, it's better I try to first establish this formula with the help of a very simple example. So instead of directly taking you through the derivation part, it's better to first let's discuss that the application of this particular straight cut formula, that is Fn is equal to A within bracket 1 plus I to the power of n minus 1 upon I bracket close. We should try to test the applicability of this formula with the help of a very simple example. Now the example says, suppose Mr. Smith deposits 15,000 USD at the end of each year for 20 years in an account carrying an interest rate of 15% compounded annually. Calculate the future value of such annual deposits at the end of the 20th year. Let's go to the question once again. It's a very simple question. The question says that we are required to calculate the future value of an annuity which Mr. Smith wants to know when he wishes to deposit 15,000 USD at the end of each year, for the next 20 years, and that too when it is expected to grow at the rate of 15% compound interest per annum. So once again, students, I repeat the question. The question says that Mr. Smith wants to deposit 15,000 USD into a bank account for the next 20 years, which is expected to grow at the rate of 15%, and this 15,000 USD deposit is an annuity. I mean, he wants to deposit 15,000 USD at the end of each year for the next 20 years and expects the same to grow at the rate of 15% per annum compounded annually. So we need to calculate the final value of the annuity at the end of the 20th year for Mr. Smith. Now students, applying the straight cut formula which we just came across while dealing with the future value of an annuity, the Fn of the future value of an annuity says Fn is equal to A within bracket 1 plus I raised to the power of n minus 1 bracket close whole upon I. So are we having the requisite variables in our hand? I guess yes. So where A or the first term, A is equal to 15,000, A is not first term over here, A is the annuity, I'm sorry, A or the annuity is $15,000, I is 15% interest per annum, and n is 20 years. So by simply putting it in the formula, we are getting Fn is equal to 15,000 within bracket 1 plus 0.05 to the power of 20 minus 1 bracket close whole upon 0.05. Now where did I get this term 16.367? It's quite simple. Now it is actually 1.15 raised to the power 0. One option is that, which is practically not possible, that we should multiply 1.15 into 1.15 into 1.15 for the next 20 years. If we do this thing, it is not wrong. It is not a, it is conceptually it is not a wrong concept, but it is going to be a very tedious and an error-prone concept. So it's better that we again fall back upon our future value of an lump sum table, wherein we try to find out the value of $1 increasing at the rate of 15% compounded annually for the next 20 years. I repeat myself once again, student. Instead of calculating this amount for every year, it's better to calculate, it's better to take help of the future value of a lump sum table, wherein we try to find the value of $1 for the next 20 years, which is growing at the rate of 15%. So by referring to the the future value of the lump sum tables, we come across the point that $1 is increasing for the next 20 years at a rate of 15%, and the final amount works out to be 16.367. So the value of $1 increasing at the rate of 15% for the next 20 years is 16.367. So again, putting it in the formula, 15,000, then again within bracket 16.367 minus 1 upon 0.15. So after solving it, we are getting 15,000 multiplied by 102.44. Where did we get this amount? It is it's a quotient of 15.367 divided by 0.15. The resultant is 1.0.44. So by multiplying 1.0.44 by 15,000, we are getting the future amount of 15,36,600 USD. So it is a huge amount. So by investing 15,000 as an annuity every year for the next 20 years and expecting it to grow by 15%, Mr. Smith shall be accumulating a huge corpus of 1536600 USD at the end of the 28th year. So this growth has taken place because he has been very disciplined in his investment of making his annual payment at the end of every year for the next 20 years of rupees 15,000 USD per year, which actually grew by the compounded growth rate of 15% per annum. So the future accumulated amount happens to be 1536600 USD against an annual payment of 15,000 per year for the next 20 years. Now students, the term within bracket, that is 1 plus I to the power of n minus 1 whole upon I, is known as the compounded value factor of an annuity factor. It is known as the compounded value factor of an annuity, and this can also be referred to from an annuity table. Just while discussing about our future value of a lump sum, we discussed that a term 1 plus I to the power of n is the future value factor of a lump sum for $1 increasing by I% for n number of years. In the same fashion, even for the case of an annuity also, the term within parenthesis or the term within the bracket, that is 1 plus I to the power of n minus 1 whole upon I, is technically known as the cumulative value factor of an annuity, again which can easily be referred to from a specially dedicated table known as the future value compounded future value table of an annuity table, wherein the value of $1 annuity, I once again repeat, wherein the value of $1 annuity is being given, in which it is shown that how exactly it is growing for n number of years given at an I% rate of interest. But that growth, be very careful students, that growth is not like the growth of an lump sum, but this particular growth of $1 is that of an annuity growth for I% rate of interest for n number of years. So it can readily be referred to from the compounded value factor of an annuity table, and by taking the factor from there, we can multiply it against any A or the annuity in order to arrive at the future value, compounded value for an annuity against n number of years for I% rate of interest increasing compoundedly. Hope students this discussion is clear with you all. Hope I have been in a position to make myself a bit clear with you all. So that's it for now. In our successive discussion, we shall be talking about the derivation of the formula Fn is equal to A within bracket 1 plus I to the power of n minus 1 whole to the power of I bracket close. Thank you students. Happy learning.